I was probably the girl that nobody actually really ever talked to or knew was there. One kid who's definitely gonna go and pursue some really nerdy shit, and she's not gonna be an artist. And look what I'm doing, I'm an artist. Nathan would run with us and make us sing and run for like the first part of the day because we had to like build up our vocal stamina. It sucked because we had the label in one of our ears being like, cool, guys, what's the next single? What's the next hit?
Hi, this is Lauren Engel of Sidewalk Talk. I'm here with Yasmine.
Hi!
Krewella. It's so crazy that I saw you guys 5 years ago. Was that one of your first times playing in Hong Kong or Asia?
That was the first time playing in Hong Kong.
Damn.
So it's 2018. That was 5 years ago. That's insane.
That was actually kind of like a few years after the start of your career. Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
And you already made it to Asia, so that's awesome.
I think that was one of our first trips to Asia. So much fun. Damn.
So you were born in Windy City, or?
No, so Jahan and I were both born in Houston, but we moved to Chicago when I was 1.
Oh.
So I don't consider myself a Texan.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a Chicagoan through and through. Yeah.
Did your parents meet in Houston, or?
No, they actually met in LA.
Oh.
Yeah, we have one other sister and she was born in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, our parents met in the 80s in LA. Got married and had one of the children here.
What made your dad move here? Because he moved from Pakistan when he was like 19, right?
Exactly. So he got accepted to the University of Texas, UT Austin. And so he moved to Texas and he went to school there and he stayed here ever since. He's been here since he was 19.
What did he study?
He studied, he's one of the most incredibly intelligent men I've ever met in my life. He studied math and science.
What?
Yeah, he's a bit of a genius, my dad. But yeah, he went on to do so many things though, so I don't think he ever did anything specifically in what he studied. He just loved America though, so I think it was just his shoe-in. It was a way to get here and pursue whatever he could dream of.
What was his career like when you were growing up?
It was all over the place. Honestly, I think he changed career paths like every 5 years. Now he's a real estate agent in LA. And so he's finally doing, I think, kind of what he's always wanted to do. He loves real estate, loves LA. Y'all need a house in LA, my dad's got you.
Oh my god, shout out your dad.
Yeah, shout out. He's like my BFF, so.
How about your mom?
I love my mom. She's a graphic designer.
Oh.
Self-made woman, college dropout. She's like, fuck this, I don't need it.
So you kind of got that sense from her then, right? The creative, like, fuck this sense.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that is where it came from. I didn't even realize that. But she dropped out in a responsible way. She's like, I don't actually need this. I could be making money and starting my career without it. Yeah. And so I'm gonna do the smart thing, not funnel more money into this when I don't need it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be a boss bitch and do my thing.
And they were playing like, was your dad more into ABBA and your mom was more into like rock music?
Yeah, so before my dad even moved to the States, his favorite band was ABBA. So like back in Pakistan, they were like a sensation. And so we grew up on a lot of ABBA and stuff because of him. But he loved a lot of different music. My mom definitely was more into the rock, the Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, but the both of them together were obsessed with new wave music. So any 80s, like The Cure, Depeche Mode, Pet Shop Boys, that was a huge chunk of what we grew up. Still love, I mean, the 80s are some of my favorite jams. Talking Heads, oh my god, I love it all.
And then yourself, you listen to more of like the Fall Out Boy stuff, right? Were you listening to more band stuff?
I listened to Fall Out Boy, is definitely one of my favorite bands. I listened to a little bit of everything. I listened to a lot of hip hop and R&B, a lot of alternative rock, a lot of pop. Not too much electronic music, which I know seems really weird, but I just don't really listen to the genre that we're in. But yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. I am, yeah.
How do you describe yourself back then growing up?
High school, I was very quiet, very, very shy. I definitely like ate lunch in the art room every day. I was super afraid of the lunchroom. Oh my god, I stayed away at all costs. I was probably the girl that nobody actually really ever talked to or knew was there, which was fine with me. I'd rather be under the radar and have no one notice I'm there, because I don't know, I was just really shy. I didn't like people looking at me or talking to me, and just kind of like chilled in my corner. And
what were you absorbed with then?
I was in AP art in high school, so I was trying to pursue art and science and math in like some sort of way to combine it all, because I loved school, I loved learning. I don't think I had a favorite subject because everything was my favorite. And like by the end of high school, I was in calc and trig, and so I wanted to like take my math side and like apply it to my very artistic side.
Just really like your parents then, more than what they're really good at.
I am
That's so awesome.
Full half and half of the two. So yeah, I was absorbed with school, and I was in a band in high school, an indie band, like an indie rock, kind of like Death Cab for Cutie style. Well, we wanted to be them. I don't think we were, but we wanted to be. And then Krewella. I mean, that was my whole life right there. So it was like art, school, music. Yeah.
But it was also a religious school, right?
No. We went to Islamic school on the weekends.
Oh, on the weekends.
Yeah. I was in public school. Normal ass school.
Did you have like problems fitting in the onset?
I don't think I really tried to fit in, because I don't know if I really related to a lot of people. So I had my handful of friends, and I didn't feel pressured to have anything more than that. I wasn't like striving to be super popular or have a big friend group, or I was content with how it was.
And then also growing up, they play lots of like Bollywood movies and music.
Yeah, that's a lot of what I grew up on. Since age maybe 3 or 4, we were watching Bollywood movies. And it's funny because we don't really speak Urdu very well, so or Hindi, because they're a similar language. So my dad would have to pause the movies every 10 minutes and be like, "Okay, so this guy is married to this lady, but their parents are dead," and he'd have to like give us the whole plot rundown, because that was like before subtitles were really a thing. So yeah, I grew up on them and the music, the movies and the music.
And this is also something that I asked a lot of like mixed race, because I'm also like half Chinese, half American.
Nice.
But did you ever feel some like identity conflict?
Yes and no. I think there were times in my life that I felt so gravitated towards my Pakistani Muslim side, and I wanted to become more of that. Like, there were times in my life that I was super religious, and I was like, maybe someday I want to cover my head at all times. Maybe someday I'm going to try, I just had religious goals, and so I identified very much with that culturally Pakistan vibe. And then there are other times in my life where I just didn't focus on it at all. So I guess that's an identity crisis, but I didn't really think about it that way. Looking back, you might call it that, but I wasn't like, I'm having an existential crisis of who I am. I think every kid has that. No matter who you are, where you grow up, I don't think there's a kid out there who's like, I know exactly who I am.
Yeah.
And that's it. I still don't know who the fuck I am. I'm 25 and I'm still figuring it out, so.
And your mom converted, right?
She did. She converted when they got married.
So there hasn't been any like religious conflicts. They were kind of like together with the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, my mom was actually the one who was even more religious and pushed us to be more religious than my dad did. But now neither of them, I mean, they're divorced, and they've been divorced for like 10 years, like 9 years, and neither of them are religious anymore anyways. I think it was just they thought it was a really good way to raise their children.
Yeah.
Because religion instills a lot of moral and ethical values in kids, and which I agree. I don't really love religion. I don't think it's the greatest thing ever for our world, but I do really appreciate what Islam instilled in me as like, just in general, how to be a decent human being. So yeah.
Was their divorce difficult for you? That was like towards the end of your high school years then, right?
Exactly. It happened when I was 17. I mean, they had been separated for a couple of years already, and we kind of all saw it coming. And I was kind of in the mindset that if my parents can be happier people separate, then why be that kid who's like, no, it can't happen, and freak out and make them feel even worse for it. So my sisters and I, we just let them do what they needed to do because you can't control it.
So you actually joined on to Krewella, right?
Well,
like
no.
really early on.
I mean, Chris and Jahan, Chris, our former member, and my sister started it in like within a month.
Oh,
it was like very, very early on.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like a thing yet. And I got home from school one day. They were like, hey, Yasmine, come here. Can you sing this? And they just had me record this thing. And they were like, cool, we should do this. I'm like, okay, sure, that's tight. It wasn't really planned. It just kind of fell into it. It's so weird looking back to think that we would still be doing it over 10 years later. It's kind of insane. I would have never, ever expected that. But
were you singing before that, though?
Yeah, I was already in that indie band in high school, and I'd kind of already been, oh shit, what is going on here? Oh. Hey, okay. Yeah, and I got a guitar for my 10th birthday, so I was writing songs from age 10 on. I was like obsessed. Every day I would come home and play guitar for hours and write songs, and I had notebooks full of lyrics, and I don't know, I kind of think I just did it for fun back then, though. I wasn't like, I'm gonna be a rock star someday. It wasn't in my plans, because I was like the nerdy math science kid in my family, and so my parents were like, cool, we have one kid who's definitely gonna go and pursue some really nerdy shit, and she's not gonna be an artist. And look what I'm doing, I'm an artist. Can't control your fate.
And then were you thinking about college or anything, like after high school, or?
Yeah, God, it's weird thinking back. This is like 7 years ago now, 7 or 8, but I had a lot of different ideas of what I could be doing. I wanted to do, on the East Coast, there's this design school called RISD, Rhode Island School of Design, and they do this program with Brown University where you can get a double major, one at one school, the other at another school. So I wanted to do a fine arts major at RISD and then some sort of engineering major at Brown.
Wow. Yeah.
And so that was my plan. You know, that was like, this is what I'm going to do with my life. And then that shit got derailed because of Krewella, and I am so happy it did, because looking back, I wasn't ready to like know what I wanted to do. At 18, I don't know, I was just, I think I was just pulling together what I thought I had to do, because that's like the next step that society tells you got to do. You have to like go to high school, and the graduation rate at my high school was like 99.9%, and then the college rate, like the amount of kids who go to college immediately after my high school, was so high too.
Oh wow, a lot of peer pressure then.
Tons. I had 2 teachers telling me like, you can't take this gap year, don't do it, it's gonna ruin your life and shit like that. And obviously I didn't listen to them, and I'm doing what I'm doing today, but there's a lot of pressure as an 18-year-old to be like, cool, so who are you? What do you want to do with the rest of your life figured out right now? That's crazy. That's kind of crazy. Unless you actually know it and you are so sure and you're like, I just love this. That's beautiful. But I'm grateful for the gap year it took that turned into the gap life, because I never went to college.
Were you also doing some like part-time jobs during that gap year?
Oh yeah, I mean, since I was 15, I've been working jobs. I got a job at a bookstore all throughout high school, because I love reading. I was such a little shy motherfucker, but...
What are your favorite authors?
Oh, I have so many. So, I am a Potterhead. J.K. Rowling is my number one, but anything that's fantasy sci-fi, like there's this series called Whispers of Mirrorwind. That's a great if you guys are fantasy readers, that one's insane. It's a 3-book series. There's this amazing book called The Gargoyle. That's my favorite book by Andrew Davidson, I think is his name. What's that other book I recently read? The Atlantis Gene. It's a 3 or 4 book series that's like super crazy sci-fi, futuristic shit. I read a lot. Sometimes the names of the books and the authors become a blur. So I'm like, oh, I just read that last week, but now I'm onto a different book. And I just read this book recently called... Damn it. I can't even remember the name of it. It was so good, though. It'll come to me.
Okay.
I'm gonna blurt it out like randomly in like 2 minutes. Like, that was it.
And
Dark Matter. I
think. That's what it is.
It's called Dark Matter.
Exactly.
There it is.
And then in that gap year, like, when was that when Alive came out, or was that like after? That was like way after.
No, that wasn't even way after. It was close. So that gap year was when I was 18 and 19, and that gap year was just making music every single day. We were on this like really weird routine, so we'd wake up at like 8:30 or 8 a.m., go to Chris's house. Our manager Nathan would meet up with us. He's still our manager now.
Wow.
He found us on MySpace. He would meet us there. We would all meet at Chris's house, and Nathan would run with us and make us sing and run for like the first part of the day, because we had to like build up our vocal stamina. And it was so hard, and I hated it, and I was like, why are we doing this? I don't see the point. I'm so glad we did it now. And then we'd spend the rest of the day writing out a full song and working on a song, and by the end of the day we had like done live show. Like the running and singing was the prep for the live show, and then writing a song. And so that was every single day for so long. It was basically a full year of that. So we called it Krewella University.
I love that.
Yeah. Crew U. But yeah, so that was that. And then after that gap year, we moved in together, all of us. And that's when we wrote Alive.
Oh.
And yeah, and then everything kind of... The thing is, it picked up a little bit before then, because we had released a couple songs before then. We had released Killin' It, the Skrillex remix called Breathe was the song. We had our first couple songs like 1 Minute and Strobe Lights, so we had released a couple things before it, but yeah, when we wrote the Play Hard EP in its entirety, it was just like, it was that turning point for sure.
Yeah. And then you also, but mostly... Initially, you played in like local venues, right?
Yeah.
Like Cobra Lounge.
Exactly.
Evil Olive.
Yep, exactly.
Can you describe the first show that you did?
Oh, it was a bit train wrecky. We were playing this side room at a club in Chicago. I can't even remember what it was called. I was 19. I wasn't allowed to be in the club, so I had to like go play and then fucking leave immediately. We just like... Because we were trying to teach ourselves how to DJ so last minute, like a couple weeks before these first shows. So we had never really done it before. And we were just screwing around, really nervous, and it probably was horrible. From what I remember, it was horrible. But yeah, slowly over time, just experience and playing more shows, it gets better, and bigger shows, the numbers start growing, and you get more comfortable on stage.
And the next kind of big milestone was the Ultra 2013, right?
I mean, that was a huge milestone for sure. That was the first time in America that we did live vocals, which was a huge deal for us. Was that 2013? Yes, it was. Thank you. You're helping me remember my life right now.
I'm such a dates person, so I remember it all.
It's good. It kind of keeps my timeline in check in my head. But yeah, that was a huge milestone for us for sure. Just being in the festival bracket, basically in general, was a huge thing for us.
Do you have pressure because that song took off like decently quickly, that you had to like put up like a next single that would be able to like match it at that point?
So yeah, I mean, we were on Columbia Records at that time, and They had just signed us. We were super green. And with the success of Alive, we had to kind of scramble to figure out where we were going. Because if you listen to that Play Hard EP, the EP that Alive is on, Alive is the only song that sounds like Alive on that EP. Everything else is kind of a sampler of the other shit we wanted to do. And so it sucked because we had the label in one of our ears being like, cool, guys, what's the next single? What's the next hit? Blah, 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 blah. And then on the other side, we had ourselves being like, well, we just want to make this today, or we just want to fuck around and make this today. So it's definitely a lot of pressure. I think, looking back, I'm so grateful that we were on a major label. We left Columbia, by the way, a year ago, and now we're independent, and I'm very thankful for it. But I do think that it's a bit restrictive for an artist to have expectations in general of yourself, of other people having expectations for you. So yeah, it was a bit rough, but I think it made us better songwriters, it made us better artists in general to have a little bit of pressure too. So
yeah.
Pressure's not always a bad thing.
Was it difficult? Because like the first few songs you put out were so early on in like dance music that has changed so much. Do you think you had to stay current with the times or anything?
So there was definitely that pressure also, and things are still constantly changing in the dance music space. It's kind of crazy how quickly they change.
Yeah.
But I mean, there have been times in the studio that we felt like we were chasing something, but we don't really do that anymore. It's too tiring. It's like you couldn't possibly keep up, and also why would you want to keep up with something that you weren't a part of creating anyways? Why wouldn't you want to just create your own thing? And so instead, we kind of just do our own thing now.
Yeah.
So
I think the music video that you did with Vava,
yeah,
so cool.
Thank
I can't
you.
figure out. Okay, so I think the main shot was like Taiwan or something, or was it Shanghai? And then
It's
it goes
on-
into Hong Kong.
Does it go into Hong Kong?
Does it? I recognize the taxis.
Oh,
Or where did you shoot it?
The whole thing was shot in Shanghai.
Oh, Shanghai.
Yeah.
Damn, I guess they have similar taxis.
I think maybe they do because, yeah, that whole music video was shot in Shanghai, and it was the first music video that we've shot not in America, and it was tight.
Yeah.
It was super dope.
What was our decision to collaborate with her?
So our management sent over a bundle of a bunch of international artists, and Jahan and I did a bunch of research on them, and we started listening to each one, and Vava really stood out because she's just so, oh hi Diane. She's so unique, and she has such an insane flow, and the fact that she's pretty much one of the only and biggest female rappers in China.
Yeah, I've been following her for a minute, so then I'm like,
Yeah.
you guys, oh my god, I'm so glad for the collab.
Hell yeah. And she's also the sweetest, nicest girl ever. Jeez. She's so talented and so humble. Everything about her artist career to me was impressive. And so we pursued her, and luckily she wanted to do a collab with us. It was so cool. And we ended up shooting the music video with her too. And she was just so easy to work with. She came back with that verse, I think in 24 hours. She sent it back to us after asking. I'm like, oh my god, this chick is so quick too. Yeah, so I was very impressed with the whole process.
Did you realize that you had some sort of like rapping skills? It was like kind of some parts of the song like fast paced.
I mean, I listen to a lot of hip hop and rap, so
Yeah.
it's probably where it comes from. I don't know how I feel about how I sound, because half the time I'm like, I probably sound really stupid.
Oh my god, I love it.
Thank you. I just go with it now. I don't know. Every day in the studio is different. Some days I'm like really channeling that, and other days I feel like I don't have the proper swag to channel that. So.
How do you think your music has changed since the early songs you made?
It's more confident. I think Jahan and I have definitely grown up, but still retains that like childlike, just that inner childlike spirit. And so there's still that Krewella reckless spirit in everything we do, but I think we have so much experience under our belts now that writing songs isn't like throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks. We kind of know where we're at now. We know what we're striving for, and we're not searching for what makes Krewella Krewella. We kind of just know it now. It's a bit more of a streamlined process in the studio now.
How do you think you've grown as a person?
I think I have a lot more acceptance in my heart now, just in general, of meeting so many people and traveling the world, experiencing so many religions and cultures and humans, and I don't know, it just gives you an insane perspective to travel for work. Like, if your work is to constantly be on the road, meet new people all the time. I'm literally meeting hordes of new people every single day, pretty much. And,
Crazy.
And I'm hearing people's stories, and I'm hearing about people's lives and their love and their loss and their pain, and it just makes you see humanity as something bigger than your little tiny bubble or circle. It just, it opens up the world. And so, yeah, I think I've just become more accepting, and just, I don't know, I guess I just have a lot, it's so cheesy, but I just have a lot more love in my heart now, too.
Yeah, actually with that, what does love mean to you?
Man, it's so funny. I think I used to think one thing, and now as I'm older, love is such a different thing. Love is everything. Love is literally, I know it's such a common thing to say, but love is a religion, because I'm not religious, I'm more spiritual than anything, but when people talk about God, I have a hard time relating. But if you're to talk to me about love, I'm like, that is God. Everything that we feel, that to me is the religion we should all be following. So love is everything.
Yeah.
I love love. I love being in love. I love giving my love. I love feeling love. It is literally everything.
Other than the split, what challenges have you had?
Ooh, that's such a big question. I think as a woman, I've had certain challenges. Jahan and I have talked about this endlessly, but we've had a lot of challenges of figuring out where is our personal line and how much we give of ourselves. And that could mean emotionally, vulnerably. That could mean how much of our body we're showing. That could mean in our lyrics, how much are we telling. That line could be a part of any aspect of our careers and our lives. And so as women, we have felt that in the past that we've had to be so careful about it. And as we grow up, that struggle actually starts to fall away a little bit. You start to loosen up over time. You start to realize that there is power in being a woman. There is power in embracing this feminine divinity. There's power in embracing what makes you feel beautiful and sexy, whether that's showing skin or showing none at all. Or so I think the struggle or challenge was with embracing womanhood in general. And I think as I grow up, I love it's definitely shitty to be a woman sometimes, like, damn, periods every month. Why? What was the point of that? No, but like, I love it more and more as I grow up. And so that struggle, that challenge you're talking about, that kind of falls away. So I guess that isn't something I struggle with as much anymore. Yeah. But that was.
What does success look like to you?
In a very tangible way, I'd say success looks like my whole family and my loved ones being comfortable, safe, happy, healthy, and not stressed out, full of love, excited about life, and close to each other. So that's the very tangible. But success could also just look like my personal inner peace. I think that's success. Stillness in yourself.
And last question, what do you want to be remembered for?
Ooh. I never think about this kind of stuff because I don't really care if I'm remembered. It's never really been one of my goals to have like statues made of me and it's cool if in 100 years people still remember our songs. That's tight. But I don't really. If I had to be remembered for something, I would hope that people who have met me have walked away with a little bit more love or happiness or peace. That peace we're talking about. I don't really care about being remembered. I'm here right now, and when I'm gone, I'm gone, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't. That's just life. That's how it goes. So
Yeah.
yeah.
This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.